I mean, it's amazing what's happening here, and so we just want to hear the story.
If I were to tell one guy who was brand new starting his coaching career, hey, how do I build culture? And you had one thing to say, this is the most important piece of it, what would it be?
But the settlers before that, they didn't have water. Like they had to, if they didn't make their, like pump wells and make their well, they're going to die. Like you're going to die. So you no excuses.
Yeah.
Figure it out, right? And so he sent me this and he told me this and he said, also, I want to tell you one more thing. He said, have you ever heard of buffalo head into the storm? And I said, no. What do you mean? He started explaining it to me. Buffalo head into the storm. Well, I started researching it. Crazy to find out the eagle, out of all the species of bird, and I think it's why it's God's chosen bird in Scripture most of the time, the eagle has really strong wings. And so when a storm is coming in, most species take cover. They fly away, take cover. The eagle actually turns and goes right at the four winds. And you know when four winds go, we've had these storms coming up in Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. That's when your trash cans are blowing down the street, right? That's the four winds. When it's coming, the front's coming. Well, the eagle actually turns and goes into the front, right? And it uses its strong wings, and it hits that front, and it lifts it up. And it actually elevates it. And it goes right at the adversity. And it hovers amidst the adversity below, okay? So we teach our young men that our mascot, like we're going to have trial and tribulation to be of good cheer, right? Go attack it. So when I'm talking to the football team, if I say the word adversity, they'll start yelling, if they're paying attention. They'll start yelling, and they'll holler because we want to attack adversity. And that is so the eagle actually rises above. And that's the whole thing of the rise above our mantra is a rise above the storms in life. The eagle does some other crazy things. The mom will go get glass and sharp, like shards of stuff and take it to the nest to make the nest uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So the young ones get out. Hey, it's time to take flight, right? And go rise above. So that's part of our mantra. It's all over campus. We talk about it a lot. And the crazy thing was that right off the bat, it was like our third year here, we had a young man in the semifinals. The scoreboard started becoming blurry to him. And the trainer came over and told me, and I'm like, first thought, does he have a concussion? And long story short, about 6 weeks later and about 5 hospital visits, doctor, specialist, he winds up in Maryland at Johns Hopkins. And he gets diagnosed with Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. His optic nerves were going pale. Wow. And he's a sophomore, and he loses his eyesight, has to give up his Jeep, has to give up baseball was his first love, gives up baseball, gives up basketball. And he came to me and he said, is there any way do you think I could still play football? And so we just were heartbroken for him. And we put a ball, I say, hey, get down in a 4-point stance. I put a ball right below his nose. And I moved it. I said, can you see? Yeah, I can see it move. I can see the blur. I can see it. Okay, you can play nose guard. That kid wound up starting for us his senior year at 3 games at nose guard and was incredible. And we actually put him in on offense. We got the ball down inside the 5 one game. We had a play designed for him, and we let him score a touchdown. The team, we weren't one of those who were telling the other team, hey, let this kid score. He's blind. We punched it in, and our brothers fighting for brothers, right? Got him in the end zone, and he scored. But there was multiple games that year. The referees would come to me and say, Coach, if number 20 tackles one more kid without the ball, we're going to have to give him a personal foul. Sir, he's blind. He's blind. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. And they didn't call anything else on the rest of the night. I tried to tell the officials in pregame warm-up. I didn't always think about it. But you talk about rise above. Yeah. And now he's one of the most positive young men that I have ever. Helen Keller said the most ridiculous person is someone who has sight but has no vision.
Yeah.
We all walk around with great sight, and I have bad days. I'll have bad days, and I can see fine. And then he'll come visit, and he can't see, and he's 10 times more positive than half the people I meet each day and I'm dealing with. And I'm like, this is backwards. And so we have a Rise Above award now. Next week's graduation on Friday. He comes back. He's at the University of Arkansas now. He graduates this Friday, and which is unbelievable. He walks around with a cane, on campus, has people helping him. He's graduating. He speaks to the football team all the time. I mean, he's working for FCA now, and he's coming to speak at graduation. Well, he does the Rise Above Award. He passes out every year at graduation.
Yeah. That's incredible.
That's awesome.
That's a little thing of like just using our culture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we just try to immerse. You have to be maniacal. I like that word. Like crazy, maniac, like maniacal about your culture.
Right.
To get it in, like to get it going and to be instilled, from the bottom up. So anyway, but yeah, that's a little bit of the story.
Yeah. I love it, man. I'm telling you.
Unbelievable.
That gets you jacked up on it.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, because like we were talking, I don't remember where I heard it from, but in this whole process of just, talking about culture, the best definition of culture I've ever heard was that it's what happens to you when you're in it. It's like, it's what shapes you. And Dr. Sam Chan said years ago, he said that culture eats vision for lunch. And I see a lot of guys, they start out with a vision, but then they never build a culture to support that vision. And whereas what you're saying is you really started out, I mean, of course it starts with vision, but it really starts with defining what's important, your values, so that you build a culture that'll support that vision. Yes. And so, he always said, that vision, culture eats vision for lunch. Mm-hmm. And I believe that, and you see a lot of guys that get burnt out in this industry, coaching, they get burnt out because they don't have a vision that supports their vision. Don't have a culture that supports their vision. Mm-hmm. And so they find themselves in this constant state of frustration and tension, feeling like they got to carry it, they got to make it happen. But you said something, you said that it's installed at the top and instilled from the bottom. Yes. Corey was talking about this a couple of weeks ago in one of our episodes about, like coaches can set that compass, but then it's the players that have to then carry it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I defined it as like a family.
Yeah.
Like as the coaches are like the parents.
Yes.
They're given direction, they're given guidance, and they're the ones that set the boundaries and the parameters of what my culture. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what our program's all about. But the kids are the ones who really have to carry it and to walk it out in life and to carry it on the field. And I've been a part of a lot of cultures. I've been a part of really toxic cultures on teams. I've been a part of some of the most incredible cultures that I've ever seen. At Rogers State, you graduated with Chris Klimas. Yep. Just one of the most incredible men I've ever been around. And he was passionate about culture. He was passionate about doing things the right way. And, to see somebody that was so closely related to him, to see you both in the same field, it's just so cool.
Yeah. It's amazing, though. Something produces that, right?
Yeah.
So it's like relationships, who you get around, it rubs off on you. Yep. We talk to students all the time about the importance of, knowing who you're hanging out with, Yes. And don't let that stuff rub off on you unless it's the right thing, unless you're in the right environment. There's a book that I read a while back. It says Willpower Doesn't Work, and that's the title of the book. And the whole thing is about how, you will never just will yourself to do something. You will yourself to change your environment so that your environment supports what's in your heart to do. Right. And so, that's exactly what you guys have done here, and it resulted in a state championship this year. Talk to me a little bit about this past year's team. When did this team begin to really begin to be formed, take shape? What did leadership look like in that? Among your students, and then how did y'all overcome some of the adversity that you faced this year, directly resulted to your culture?
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, this year's team, where hopefully this makes sense, but when we won the championship this year at UCO on December 13th and got to hold up the gold ball, it really happened when these seniors were in third grade. And if we could just roll all of our chairs and camera back here in our team room I could turn on the lights and show you our season goals of 7 goals for the year, and all 7 stickers are filled in. The picture in the background on that poster is our senior class this year that won state in 3rd grade.
Wow.
Holding up their rings at Inola from winning the CFL championship in 3rd grade.
Wow.
And I'm right there. Like, I'm not in that picture, but I was right there that day taking a picture because my son was a senior this year. And so, love.
Yeah.
They loved each other. I mean, this group loved each other more than people think was reasonable or necessary. And I cannot, you have to live it and be in it to understand it. It's like when you have a great story and people are like, you just don't get it. You just don't understand it. Well, I could say whatever I could and you just won't get it. People, what's the difference in the team this year? What was the difference? And you've all heard that, great or bad teams, nobody leads. Good teams, coaches lead. Great teams, players lead.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, they did it this year. I mean, they did it. Little things from I always have the next year's seniors. I've already done it this year. I did it last year. I've done it every year for 10 years. They come over to my house. My wife makes dinner for the College Football National Championship. And we have a halftime meeting, and we define things with them at that time. Then they come over to my house a couple more times in the off season and summer, and I'll do hot dogs or something. We'll play a game, a catchphrase or something, and then we get into some questions, like what do we want to do? What do we want to be? These guys said this year at my house, they want to start a revival at this school.
Wow.
They want to change the culture spiritually.
And that can be hardest at a Christian school.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The things the football seniors were saying at my house didn't have a whole lot to do with football.
Yeah.
Right? So it was just different. I just knew it was different. We had a lock-in. We won a 7-on-7 tournament, which that was the first one we ever won in 23 years of my coaching. We never won one, and we won one this year. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, this group might be just like a group that's just not going to be denied. And that was in July. And we came back here and had a lock-in that night with the 10 seniors. And they wanted to have a Nerf gun war in here and all that, and we had a movie planned. And anyway, they all went and, like, our booster club got food here, and we had a bunch of Cane's chicken and stuff. And I had to go get some stuff and get ready and do some dessert and pick it up. Well, administration, I don't want them to know this, but the guys were all in here. I let them in, and then I went and ran some errands and came back. Well, they had set up the team room with the table. This is a weird thing. I was just thinking about this morning in the senior chapel. I walked in to the team room, and the seniors are all around 2 tables. They had the plate set up. They had made my plate. And they're like, Coach, come sit down. We got your food ready. And I'm like, what high school kids make their coach's plate and like, Coach, come. And they're like, we're glad I was there and ready for me to sit down with them and fellowship. Like, I mean, I almost walked out of the team room that night to shed a tear because I was kind of like, this is weird. And so we had that night, and then as we started going, right off the bat, we start off with great, just fireworks game 1 against Noah. But week 2, we go to Cassia Hall, and man, we had some adversity with the turnover early. And my son, who's a senior, is our quarterback. He had tore his ACL week 3. I was kind of telling you this earlier. Well, he pulled his hamstring on the 3rd series of the game. And he's our guy, and our backup's a freshman. And he didn't have much time, wasn't ready, and he's a super talented player, but goes in. We lose the game. My son's hamstring's bummed. Pulled where he took the graft from tore his ACL against Cassia Hall week 1 the year before, game 2, but week 1. We play 0 week here. And it was like deja vu all over again. And I'm like, well, this is not happening. It's not going to happen. Because I'll tell y'all, like, in 2021, we lost to Washington out here after the quarterfinals, day after Thanksgiving. My oldest son was a senior. My middle son that was a senior this year was a freshman. He told me that night, he's crying, because my oldest son thought first state championship could be with Dad when I'm a senior, and it didn't happen. And my freshman son at the time in 2021, Kel, looks at me in the eyes. He's crying, and he says, Dad, it wasn't time. It wasn't time. but I promise you, we will win a state championship before I graduate.
Wow.
He told me that. And then for him to get hurt week 2 against Cassia Hall, and then so the whole year was like, me personally, I'm trying to be a dad, but be there for everybody else, which is what I did the whole year before. When he couldn't even tear your ACL, he's done for the year. He had surgery, and I'm just heartbroken, but I'm here for everybody. Like the year before, I had some days I just had to put the right foot in front of the left, right foot in front of the left, get to the team room, and then just bring the passion, right? Bring the passion for the other guys. And so it started that way, and there's a lot of wrestling with the Lord this year. But man, when we went through that, and we had some, other adversity with some guys on the team with some family issues and just stuff, man. Yeah, it just happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Every year is going to have adversity with every team. It doesn't matter. When you're working with young people, there's going to be adversity.
Yes, absolutely. And I think, again, in Isaiah, he says, I will make the crooked path straight and the rough edges smooth. Well, when we lost to Cassia Hall, it was a rough edge. Losing our starting quarterback. We had not finished the season. We're talking about Chance Wilson, great player from here earlier. We had not finished the season with our starting quarterback healthy in the previous 4 seasons combined. And I'm like, I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to go through this again. And thankfully, the boys hung on, and they fought, and we were able to use Camion as a freshman some to help Kel get his legs back. And Camion played great as he got some reps in practice more, and the team just rallied and stayed together, and we got better and better. And then we get to the playoffs, and we were healthy and all pistols firing. We were like, and just went on a rampage through the playoffs. And when we beat Fairview, second round here, packed house. The atmosphere was incredible. It was an unbelievable night in November. They were 2-time defending state champs, and and they're ranked in front of us. I think they were ranked 2, we were 3. And they come here, and, man, I think we went 34-7 and just went off. And we're like, holy cow, we're pretty good. You're still not thinking. When you go to the semifinals the next week, this school had been to the semis 4 times, 2012, 13, 18, and 19, and never gotten out. And so 12 and 13 were 8-man when they got in the OSSAA in 2012. Went to the semis 2 years in a row. It was incredible. That's before we came. But yeah, get to the semis, never gotten out. We won that night. We're thinking, okay. Well, the reason I think that we won, and going back to culture and kind of the question, I got to go all the way to the end here. Yeah. We're playing Hooker, who's ranked number 1. They just throttled everybody all year. Massive. We had a couple kids over 200 pounds, and we had 2 kids right at about 200 pounds. We were so outsized in that final game. But which culture, again, no excuses.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, talking about heart, unity, dependability, fight, and integrity every day, I honestly think that our seniors and our players, 9 through 12, which you would not know when you walked in our locker room who was a freshman or a senior because of the culture and the leadership, but our guys were actually excited to go play a game that they weren't supposed to win.
Yeah.
And a team that everybody picked Hooker to beat us. We're not supposed to win, not supposed to, whatever. It was an excitement. Well, in that game, it is 35-14, good guys. And Hooker has the ball. They get a 1st and goal to 3 with 40 seconds to go. The game's over. It's 35-14. They dumped the Gatorade on me. I'm still trying to watch. They ran 4 plays as fast as they could because they wanted it to be 35-21 and to score and save a little bit of.
Sure.
You guys weren't having it, were they?
Like first, second, third, fourth. Just throttling them at the half-yard line. They didn't get in.
Yeah. I love it.
Not getting in. It's just like, you're not going to do this. Like, they were more concerned about that moment of keeping them out than getting ready to hold up the goal ball. It didn't. And I will also say that the coaches, and for me, for 22 years of my career, I wanted a ring and I wanted a trophy. And somewhere something happened along the way this year spiritually with our team and our leadership in chapel and praise and worship. Like I was telling you, we had 8 and 9 guys weekly on Thursdays up on stage in our chapel day leading worship arts, leading praise and worship in our chapel of football players. 8 or 9 football players out of the 12 students up there. Today was our last chapel. We had 8 leadership up there. 6 of them were football seniors leading praise, drums, 2 on the guitar, 2 singing. Unbelievable. Like, typically football players and worship arts means you're not going to be very good in football. I'm just, don't mean that in the wrong way, but it's kind of that way. So they just weren't going to let them in the end zone. They led spiritually. We win the game. The interviews on the field after the game, unbelievable what was coming out of our young men's mouths. Like, oh, we just honored the Lord this year. Psalms 115:1 was our verse. Not unto us, O Lord, not unto us, but unto your name be the glory. And we gave God glory, and we put him first. And guess what? He honored us. In return, he blessed us with a state championship today. That was like just flowing out of their mouths. Yeah. Like, it is like not even, no hesitation. We get on the bus, and we come back to OSSAA from Edmond, from UCO, and OSSAA PD's waiting on us when we exit 169. They're escorting us back to campus. It's like 9:30 at night. The parking lot's packed. We get off the bus. Jet McCain, one of our senior linemen, he comes in with the trophy. The foyer's packed. We go into the into the high school gym. The whole home side is packed from corner to corner. And they put the trophy on the floor, on the gym floor behind the score table. They put it down. They didn't ever realize it, but the people couldn't see it because they laid it on the floor. Jet grabbed a mic. Carter Akery grabbed his drums. Kel grabbed his guitar. Other seniors. Our players locked arms, and we sang 2 praise and worship songs. Yeah. We gave credit where credit was due. We honored the Lord, and the crowd was swaying. The coaches had their arms locked, were swaying. The players were swaying. And the particle board trophy that's made out of, and painted gold was down on the floor. Like, it wasn't about that. Yeah. We wanted to keep playing because we wanted to be together. We wanted to take this thing as far as it could go because we loved each other. And honestly, it's really weird. The year that I kind of let go of like wanting a ring and wanting a gold ball was the year that it happened. Yeah. It's like, what's crazy. But going back, it's a personal thing. When the horn went off, and my son was down there playing defense. He was one of the ones trying to keep him out of the end zone down there. He finds me, and I find him, and there's a picture of us, we're screaming at each other. He's got tears coming down his eye black. I got tears coming down my face. And that scream at us and for our program and all of our kids and our coaches was like, there's so much driving the kids on the bus at 6:30 to 136th in 2015. Fighting to establish the culture, getting the fight song done. All of the grit, the ACL for my son, promise you we will win one before I graduate. Didn't look like that was going to happen for most of the season with the way he couldn't, it was just like, man, just trust the Lord and stay the course. And, and here's the thing. Had we not won, he still reigns.
That's right.
It's true.
He's still on the throne. We would have kept honoring him. We'd have came back with a silver ball, and we'd have honored him. Yeah. And we've done that before, too. In 2019, we lost the semis for the second year in a row at Noble High School. I've got a senior, Cole Hill, great player for me. He's crying on my shoulder at midfield. I'm holding him, and I looked over, and there's another picture in our team room, and our whole team is around the goalpost on a knee praying. No coaches told him to do that. Nobody told him to do that. Yeah. The culture did that.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that with me whenever I was here that day. Yep. There's something about whenever you get to the end of yourself, right? That's whenever God really takes over, right? There's something about that is it's a biblical and spiritual principle, but it's also a principle for how you build a winning culture, a championship culture. Because whenever you get a group of students that buy into something bigger than themselves and are willing to lay down their lives, whatever that takes to make that thing happen, make it come to pass. That's when you know, when there's complete buy-in, and they're like, this isn't about me. This is about something much bigger. Yeah. It's about the team. It's about giving God glory. It's about, whatever it may be that's motivating and driving you. It's got to be something more than just, I want this for myself, you know. And I think that's an important lesson when we're talking about building culture in athletic programs and teams, is that you have to come to a place where it's no longer about you. It's about something much bigger, you know.
Aaron, when you said that, so when Kel didn't play that against Christian Heritage and Camion started, Camion is a freshman. He has offers from Boston College in Arkansas right now. Other people looking at him. He played so well. And him and Kel, freshman, senior, lockered next to each other. And in my exit interview with Camion in December after we won it all, I couldn't hold it together. Because I looked at that young man and I'm like, dude, your parents could have been upset that when my son came back, we just let him facilitate the offense. You know, and we felt like we needed his leadership down the road, but we wanted Camion to see how he carries himself. And Camion's dad had told me that. He needs him with Kel is going to be the best. People could have been upset.
Yeah.
People could, we say butthurt around here. People could have been butthurt. Nobody was butthurt. Everybody wanted everybody to get back, wanted to be healthy. Like, it was that way. Our starting left guard, senior Carter Akery, I'm not joking, 5'8", 165. 5'8", 165, was a running back in junior high and as a freshman and a sophomore. Called him in going into his junior year. We need you to go to offensive line. We're just depleted here, especially after this coming season. We graduate a ton. In your senior year, do you want to play a position or do you want to be a player? And so many times in life, people want to be in a certain setting. I want to play a quarterback. Well, you can be a fourth string and sit, or you want to go make something happen.
Yeah.
Right? And so Carter says, Coach, whatever the team needs. He's our starting left guard in the state championship game. He had the task of pulling and kicking out number 5, their defensive end, who was 6'2", 260, and he wore him out. He wore him out, like the whole game, because that heart, what you just said, get to the end of yourself.
Yeah.
We had a whole group of guys to the end of themselves, and man, special things happen.
Yeah, I love it. You got anything else?
Oh, I could ask 300
I know it.
but he's got a family to get home.
I know.
So do I.
That's exactly what I was just thinking about. Man, this has been incredible, an
Yeah.
incredible conversation. I could listen to Brent speak for days. I mean, it's I'm telling you, special things are happening here, and it takes leadership. And I believe in giving honor where honor's due. And man, God is, He's favored you. He's put you in this place. You've done an incredible job. And man, what an example for young men.
Yeah.
I just commend you for the work that you're doing here. Man, it really is. I mean, you can look at these facilities, and everybody probably drives by and are like, "Oh wow!" I mean, I bet he can win whenever he's got all of that. No, he can win because he busts kids, at 6:30 in the morning. 3 days a week when he was committed to a process 20-something years ago to build this. And that's what people don't see and they don't know.
Yeah.
So I just commend you, man. I commend the work that you've done here. It's incredible. I'm glad. I appreciate the time. We may have to do this again because there's so much more to talk about.
Yeah, we left a lot out.
Yeah.
But thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I'll just say Psalms 115:1.
Yeah.
Not unto us, but unto your name be the glory.
That's it.
It's all about him.
That's it. I love it. Well, thank you guys for joining us with this episode, and we look forward to seeing you again here soon.